Bookworms, I'm Becca. Welcome back to another video. In today's video, I'm going to be showing my December TBR, which is to be read. But in this case, it's my want to read, hope to read, overly ambitious 5-book stack when I haven't read in a month, at least. But hey, it's the last month of the year, and I have pretty much all of the books that I wanted to read this year left unread. So I have a stack that started out as 2 books. One of those books is not even on my list anymore, and suddenly 4 other books looked good to me. So they're on the list. Am I going to read all of these books in December? No. If I had to focus on one book, do I know what book I will be reading? Yeah. Am I going to still give a list of 5 books in the hopes that I will be able to somehow miraculously read all of them? Why not? Maybe there will be a Christmas miracle. I'm calling on Santa and his powers to help me out here. But anyway, let's get started. 2 of these books are 100% not Christmas books, but for some reason, every single book on this list feels like December to me for some reason. I don't know, cannot explain it, will not try to explain it. I'm just here to show you the books. Starting out with probably the only book I'm going to be reading this month, Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, your quintessential Christmas read. What says Christmas more than catching a serial killer? I feel like I mention this book at least 3 times a year since I have purchased it. I own every single book in the series, have not read a single one. This is kind of my last ditch effort to read this book, or I'm gonna have to unhaul it. I'm going to have to unhaul it because it's been going on for too long. In this book, we follow a girl named Audrey who has been raised to be the perfect Victorian woman, but after the death of her mother, she trades in her embroidery needle for a scalpel and starts secretly apprenticing in forensics because she wants to try to understand death. She somehow gets roped into the investigation of a serial killer, and she thinks that she'll be able to solve the case. So the story is obviously based on the famous unsolved murder of Jack the Ripper. I know that I will love this book. I also know that the only reason I'm thinking about this book is because of a game that I played recently that followed H.H. Holmes. So if anyone has any books that have to do with H.H. Holmes, drop them in the comments because that is what I'm exploring mentally right now. Next on my list is The Second Death of Edie and Violet Bond by Amanda Glaze. This follows twin girls, Edie and Violet, and they are both mediums. And after something goes terribly wrong with their parents, they join a traveling spiritualist show. Each night, all of these young female spiritualists are able to showcase their talents communing with spirits. And I don't really know much more than that, except they start kind of unleashing something darker, and it leads them on a journey that they were not expecting to take. Another one that is definitely not your quintessential Christmassy read, but I do feel like the atmosphere of it feels wintry to me. You know? Do you catch that feeling at all? Maybe it's just me. You know what I think it is? The winter just screams historical fiction for me for some reason. I'm not sure why, but the next book on my list is historical fiction too, and it is Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. I talk about this one quite often as well. The only Ruta Sepetys book I've ever read is Shades of Grey. I think that's the name of it. I loved the writing. I loved everything about it. I own every Ruta Sepetys book. Have I read any other ones? Absolutely not. Is this the next one I would read? Absolutely. This is supposed to be like the unofficial sequel to Between Shades of Grey. I have been wanting to read it for a very long time. Will I read it this month? Probably not. But I can dream, and that's all that matters. Next is a middle grade book that I saw on my yearly TBR cart, and immediately was like, yep, I have to add this to my list. Definitely not even going to open it this month, but it is Wildwood, written by Colin Malloy with illustrations by Carson Ellis. It's a New York Times bestseller. It is chunky, but it's like small and chunky, so I feel like I could maybe do it. And doesn't the cover kind of feel wintry? Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I'm associating strange things with the winter season. Also, almost named an Animal Crossing island Wildwood. I knew I had a book called Wildwood. I knew it. I should have just stuck with that name, but no. Nope. Never mind. This book is about a girl named Prue whose life is ordinary until her brother is abducted by a murder of crows and taken to the impassable wilderness on the edge of Portland. No one's ever gone in, or at least returned to tell of it. I love that. So maybe like an urban fantasy, kind of? It definitely feels wintry. And the last one on my list that has been on my list for quite a while as well is Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. Somebody, please, hold me accountable and make sure that I read this freaking book, because it has been far too long. I know that I will enjoy it. I feel like it's another one that is perfect for the dark and dreary winter season. You know what? That's what all of these books have in common. They feel dark and dreary, and that is the kind of stories that I'm drawn to in winter. It's all coming together now. I don't really know what this one is about, except I know that it has to do with a heist, and everyone always talks about this book when they're talking about books that deal with heists and like a ragtag group of characters. So if you have read Six of Crows, which is pretty much everyone, because I'm always the last one to read everything, yell at me in the comments to read this book and make me cry so that I actually read it. That's all. So there you guys go. That is a short and sweet what I am feeling called to read during the month of December, but really it feels more like what I want to try to read this winter TBR. That might be a little bit more manageable than condensing it all into 1 month. If I did have to focus on one book during December, though, it's gonna have to be Stalking Jack the Ripper. It has to be Stalking Jack the Ripper. Although now that I've said that, I'm gonna pick up a different book entirely. That's just how it goes. Let me know down below in the comments what books you are planning to read during December, what your favorite Christmassy reads are, and what books feel like winter to you. I can't wait to see your answers. This video is also the start of what I'm calling the 25 Days of Becca with a Book Miss. Working title. It is basically me wanting to do some sort of content for every day leading up to Christmas. So I'm going to be putting out YouTube videos. We're going to be doing some Christmassy streams over on Twitch, Christmas movie nights in Discord, and just having a whole lot of fun. Tonight, we're going to be decorating my lovely room, putting up Christmas trees and all that jazz. So feel free to stop on by tonight and hang out while I decorate, and maybe decorate right along with me. I'm really excited for all of the stuff that I've planned during December. I will leave a link to the full calendar of events down below in the description, but Also, it will be in my Discord, so if you're not in my Discord already, feel free to jump in. We talk about games, books, life, all that jazz, and you can stay up to date on what I am doing next. That's all I got for you today, and I will see you next time. Bye!